Love it or hate it, driving is part of daily life in America, but in some cities, it feels less like a commute and more like survival of the fittest. Endless gridlock, confusing road layouts, aggressive drivers, and even extreme weather can turn a simple trip into a nightmare. Today on Discover Top 10 Places, we're counting down the 10 worst places to drive in the United States, and trust me, some of these will test every ounce of your patience. Before we hit the road, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and ring that notification bell so you never miss out on more eye-opening top 10 lists. Now buckle up, it's time to find out which cities are every driver's worst nightmare. Number 10, Los Angeles, California. It is a city where car culture reigns supreme, but that dominance comes with serious challenges for drivers. The sheer size of the metropolitan area, stretching across multiple counties, means residents rely almost entirely on cars to get around. The city's freeways, such as the infamous I-405, I-10, and US 1001, are often gridlocked during both peak and off-peak hours. In fact, Los Angeles consistently ranks among the worst in the nation for annual hours lost in traffic, with some commuters spending the equivalent of several work weeks a year just sitting in their vehicles. This congestion isn't limited to downtown. Whether you're in the valley, near LAX, or heading toward the coast, traffic is a constant companion. On top of the congestion, the driving style in Los Angeles adds to the stress. Many drivers are known for aggressive maneuvers like cutting across multiple lanes, speeding in traffic, or braking suddenly in heavy congestion. Combined with frequent road construction and limited street parking, navigating the city becomes an endurance test. Popular areas like Hollywood, Santa Monica, and Beverly Hills present unique challenges, with narrow streets, heavy pedestrian traffic, and expensive or nearly impossible parking situations. Even GPS apps struggle to keep up, often rerouting drivers through side streets that are just as jammed, leaving motorists feeling stuck no matter which route they choose. Weather and environmental conditions also play a role in making Los Angeles a difficult place to drive. While the city is known for sunshine, smog often reduces visibility, and summer heat can create dangerous conditions for cars in stop-and-go traffic. Occasional rainstorms, though infrequent, wreak havoc on the freeway since drivers unaccustomed to wet roads often cause accidents, leading to further delays. Add in natural hazards like earthquakes, which can damage roads and bridges, and you have a city where driving isn't just frustrating, it can be downright dangerous. Altogether, Los Angeles represents the perfect storm of congestion, unpredictability, and infrastructure challenges, cementing its reputation as one of the worst places to drive in the United States. Number 9, Miami, Florida. It is a city that dazzles with its beaches, nightlife, and culture, but driving here can quickly turn that sunshine into stress. The city's roadways are notoriously congested, with narrow streets and limited infrastructure struggling to keep up with a rapidly growing population. Miami's layout is sprawling and heavily car-dependent, which means that most residents and visitors rely on driving as their main form of transportation. The result is gridlock, particularly during morning and evening rush hours, with major roads like I-95, the Dolphin Expressway, and the Palmetto Expressway ranking among the most frustrating commutes in the nation. Adding to the challenge is Miami's reputation for aggressive and unpredictable drivers. Merging without signaling, speeding through intersections, and weaving in and out of traffic are everyday occurrences. This culture of impatience, combined with frequent road construction and poorly marked intersections, makes navigating the city especially daunting for newcomers. Parking is another headache, whether you're in downtown, Brickell, or Miami Beach. Drivers face high fees and limited availability, which can easily turn a night out or a day at the beach into a stressful ordeal. Weather conditions further complicate driving in Miami. Sudden heavy rainstorms can flood streets in minutes, reducing visibility and causing cars to hydroplane. The city's tropical climate also brings hurricane season, where evacuations can leave highways at a complete standstill. Even on clear days, bright sunshine can cause glare that contributes to accidents. With a combination of overburdened roadways, reckless driving habits, and unpredictable weather, Miami proves to be one of the most stressful and dangerous places to drive in the United States. Number 8, San Francisco, California. It is one of the most picturesque cities in the United States, but behind the postcard views lies a driving experience that can test even the most patient driver. The city's famously steep hills create a unique set of challenges, from constant stop-and-go situations to the stress of parking on inclines, where rollbacks are a real risk. Many streets are narrow and one-way, leaving little room for error, and GPS navigation often struggles with rerouting drivers through confusing, overlapping road systems. The Bay Bridge and Golden Gate Bridge, while iconic, are frequently choked with traffic, especially during rush hours when commuters flood in and out of the city. In addition to difficult road layouts, San Francisco is plagued by congestion worsened by its dense urban design and limited parking. Popular areas such as Fisherman's Wharf, Chinatown, and the Financial District draw heavy tourist traffic, making everyday commutes a hassle for locals. Street parking is scarce and expensive, while garages often charge exorbitant fees, forcing drivers to circle endlessly in search of a spot. The city's reliance on public transportation like BART and minibuses only partially alleviates the problem, meaning that the streets remain packed with cars, delivery trucks, cyclists, and rideshare drivers, all competing for space. Another factor that makes driving in San Francisco so stressful is the unpredictability of pedestrians and cyclists. The city is one of the most walkable in the United States, which means crosswalks are constantly busy, and jaywalking is common. Cable cars and buses share the roads as well, further complicating traffic flow and creating hazards for drivers unfamiliar with the city's rhythm. Add in the frequent fog that reduces visibility and the high costs of car maintenance due to steep roads and wear on brakes, and it's no wonder San Francisco consistently ranks as one of the worst cities for driving in the country. Number 7. New York City, New York. It is the nation's largest urban center, and while it thrives on energy and constant motion, driving here is nothing short of a nightmare. The city's dense population, combined with millions of commuters and tourists each day, makes congestion a permanent feature on the roads. Major routes like the FDR Drive, Lincoln Tunnel, and George Washington Bridge are notorious choke points, often turning even short trips into hour-long ordeals. Unlike other cities where traffic comes and goes, in New York, gridlock is almost constant, stretching across all 5 boroughs at nearly every hour of the day. What makes driving in New York especially intimidating is the aggressive driving culture. Taxi drivers, rideshare vehicles, and delivery trucks dominate the streets, weaving between lanes and stopping suddenly to pick up passengers. Add to that an endless stream of pedestrians who cross wherever they please, and cyclists who share already narrow lanes, and drivers are forced to stay on constant high alert. Construction zones and frequent road closures, especially in Manhattan, add another layer of chaos, often rerouting drivers through confusing one-way systems that even locals find frustrating. Parking in New York City is another ordeal in itself. Street parking is extremely limited, with strict rules that can result in hefty fines or towing if you make even the slightest mistake. Parking garages exist, but often charge sky-high rates, making it impractical for most drivers. Because of these challenges, many New Yorkers simply avoid driving altogether, relying instead on the subway or buses. For those who must drive, however, New York City's combination of non-stop congestion, aggressive traffic patterns, and high costs make it one of the absolute worst places to drive in the United States. Number 6. Boston, Massachusetts. It is one of the oldest cities in the United States, and its historic charm comes with a road system that frustrates drivers daily. Unlike many American cities with grid-like street layouts, Boston's roads were designed centuries ago and often follow the paths of old cow trails rather than any logical pattern. The result is a maze of narrow, winding streets with confusing intersections and abrupt dead ends. GPS systems often struggle here, leading drivers in circles or down roads that don't quite connect the way they appear on the map. Combine this with heavy student and tourist traffic around areas like Fenway Park, Harvard Square, and Downtown Crossing, and you've got a recipe for gridlock. In addition to the confusing road layout, Boston's drivers have a reputation for being among the most aggressive in the nation. Locals are known for quick lane changes, tailgating, and little patience for hesitant drivers unfamiliar with the area. Roundabouts, or rotaries as they're called in Massachusetts, are especially notorious, with multiple lanes of traffic merging without clear guidance. Parking is equally challenging, with limited spaces and tight spots that require expert parallel parking skill. Whether you're in the North End or Back Bay, circling for parking can take longer than the drive itself. Weather further compounds Boston's driving difficulties. Winters bring heavy snowstorms, icy roads, and reduced visibility, which often paralyze traffic and create hazardous conditions. Even in warmer months, Potholes left behind by the freeze-thaw cycle damage cars and force drivers to swerve unexpectedly. With its combination of historic but impractical road design, impatient drivers, and harsh New England weather, Boston offers one of the most challenging driving environments in the United States, especially for those new to the city. Number 5. Washington, D.C. It is not only home to monuments and government buildings, but also some of the most frustrating driving conditions in the country. One of the biggest challenges is the city's unique street design, a combination of diagonal avenues crossing a traditional grid system. While visually impressive, this layout creates countless confusing intersections and awkward traffic flows that leave even longtime residents scratching their heads. Traffic circles, such as the infamous DuPont Circle and Thomas Circle, only add to the confusion, with multiple lanes of merging traffic that can overwhelm drivers unfamiliar with the city. Beyond the confusing layout, DC is plagued by some of the worst congestion in the country. With thousands of federal employees, commuters from neighboring Virginia and Maryland, and a constant stream of tourists, the city's roads are perpetually overcrowded. Highways like I-39-5 and the Capitol Beltway, I-49-5, are notorious for standstill traffic during rush hour. Street closures for political events, protests, or visiting dignitaries add another layer of unpredictability, often forcing drivers into long detours without warning. For many residents, it feels like there's no such thing as a smooth commute. Parking is another major pain point in Washington, D.C. Street parking is extremely limited, with strict meter enforcement and complex signage that can be difficult to interpret. Parking garages are available, but often charge exorbitant rates, particularly in downtown and Capitol Hill. On top of that, the city's frequent road construction projects and bike lanes have reduced the number of available driving lanes, making traffic even tighter. Combined with the stress of heavy pedestrian activity, cyclists, and aggressive drivers, Washington, D.C. earns its reputation as one of the most difficult and stressful cities to drive in the United States. Number 4. Seattle, Washington. It may be one of the fastest growing cities in the country, but its infrastructure has struggled to keep pace with the population boom. The city's layout, built around hills, lakes, and waterways, limits the number of major roads and creates natural choke points that feed constant congestion. Highways like I-5 and State Route 520 are infamous for daily traffic jams, with backups stretching for miles during peak commute hours. Even short drives across the city can take far longer than expected, and drivers often find themselves caught in bottlenecks with no alternative routes. Adding to the frustration is Seattle's geography and weather. The city's many steep hills and winding roads can be challenging for drivers, especially during rainy conditions. Heavy rainfall is a year-round reality, and slick roads contribute to frequent accidents and slowdown. Bridges and tunnels that connect different parts of the city also create traffic vulnerabilities. When one route backs up or closes for construction, the entire system feels the impact. Winter weather, though less frequent, can turn these hilly streets into dangerous ice sheets that even experienced drivers struggle to handle. Seattle's growth has also meant more construction projects, fewer parking options, and more drivers competing for limited road space. Neighborhoods like Capitol Hill and downtown are notorious for tight parking and heavy pedestrian traffic, while bike lanes and buses add additional obstacles for motorists. The rise of tech companies has drawn tens of thousands of new residents, further crowding already overloaded streets. With a combination of constant congestion, weather-related hazards, and limited infrastructure, Seattle has earned its place as one of the most stressful cities to drive in the United States. Number 3. Chicago, Illinois. It is a vibrant city with world-class culture and architecture, but driving here is anything but smooth. The city's grid system may look straightforward on a map, but in reality, constant traffic jams and bottlenecks make even short drives a test of patience. Major expressways like the Dan Ryan, Kennedy, and Eisenhower are notorious for heavy congestion, particularly during rush hours, when commuters flood in from the suburbs. Delays are so common that Chicago consistently ranks among the worst United States cities for traffic, with drivers spending dozens of extra hours a year sitting in their cars. Weather is another major factor that makes driving in Chicago difficult. The city is infamous for its brutal winters, which bring heavy snow, icy roads, and blizzard conditions that reduce visibility. Salt and plowing help keep roads usable, but the freeze-thaw cycle leaves behind a network of potholes that wreak havoc on vehicles and make driving uncomfortable and unsafe. Even during warmer months, heavy rains can flood underpasses and slow traffic to a crawl. The unpredictable weather means drivers must always be prepared for sudden hazards. Adding to the challenge is the aggressive driving culture that comes with a busy metropolis. Chicago drivers are known for quick lane changes, heavy use of horns, and little patience for slow movement. Downtown areas like the Loop and Michigan Avenue are especially chaotic, with pedestrians, cyclists, buses, and delivery trucks all competing for space. Parking is both expensive and scarce, particularly in popular districts, often forcing drivers to circle for long periods or pay high garage fees. Taken together, congestion, extreme weather, and tough driving habits make Chicago one of the hardest cities to navigate by car in the United States. Number 2, Atlanta, Georgia. It is one of the fastest growing metropolitan areas in the United States, and its roadways are struggling to keep up. The city is built around a sprawling highway system, with the I-2085 perimeter nicknamed the Perimeter, circling the city and serving as one of the busiest loops in the country. Inside it, major highways like I-75, I-85, and I-20 all converge in downtown Atlanta, creating bottlenecks and constant congestion. Rush hour traffic here is notorious, often stretching well beyond traditional morning and evening times, and commute delays can easily add an hour or more to a driver's day. Atlanta's dependence on cars makes driving even more challenging. Unlike some cities with robust public transit systems, Atlanta's MARTA rail network covers only limited areas, meaning most residents have no choice but to drive. The result is overcrowded highways and surface streets, with accidents and breakdowns frequently worsening delay. Sprawling suburbs feed thousands of commuters into the city daily, and with limited alternate routes, drivers often find themselves stuck on the same congested highways day after day. For newcomers, navigating this maze of highways can be intimidating, especially with Atlanta's complex interchanges, such as the massive Spaghetti Junction. Weather and geography also play a role in Atlanta's driving difficulty. Summer heat takes a toll on cars and roadways, while occasional winter storms create chaos, as seen in the infamous snowpocalypse, when the city was paralyzed by just a few inches of snow. Hills and winding roads in certain areas also challenge drivers, particularly when combined with heavy rain. Parking in downtown and popular neighborhoods like Buckhead or Midtown can be expensive and hard to find, adding another layer of stress. Altogether, Atlanta's sprawling design, congested highways, and lack of strong public transit cement its reputation as one of the worst places to drive in the United States. Number 1, Detroit, Michigan. It may be known as the Motor City and the birthplace of the American automobile industry, but ironically, it is one of the most difficult cities to drive. The city's aging infrastructure has long struggled with neglect, and potholes are a constant hazard across both highways and local streets. Many roads are cracked, uneven, and poorly maintained, making them uncomfortable and often dangerous to navigate. Freeways like I-75, I-94, and the Lodge frequently back up with traffic, while ongoing construction projects only add to the gridlock. For daily commuters, delays and frustration are simply part of the routine. Complicating matters further is Detroit's sprawling urban layout. Unlike more compact cities, Detroit is spread out across a large area, meaning drivers often need to travel long distances for work, shopping, or entertainment. This reliance on cars is intensified by limited public transportation options, which leave few alternatives to drive. Navigating downtown can be confusing due to its mix of one-way streets and frequent road closures for events or construction, while suburban commuters often face bottlenecks when entering or leaving the city during peak hours. Weather also makes Detroit a difficult city for driving. Brutal winters bring heavy snow, ice, and freezing rain, all of which contribute to hazardous driving conditions and further damage to already deteriorating roads. Snow removal efforts can't always keep up with storms, leading to slick and dangerous commutes. Even in warmer months, sudden rainstorms can reduce visibility and create hydroplaning hazards. Taken together, crumbling infrastructure, sprawling commutes, and harsh weather, Detroit earns its reputation as the worst place to drive in the United States, despite its proud automotive history. Conclusion, and there you have it, the 10 worst places to drive in the United States. From crumbling roads to endless gridlock, these cities push drivers to their limits every single day. Have you braved the traffic in any of these places, or do you think your city deserves a spot on the list? Share your experiences in the comments. We'd love to hear your story. If you enjoyed this countdown, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to discover top 10 places, and tap the notification bell so you'll never miss another list of the best and worst places across the country and around the world. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next adventure.